Hi everyone, welcome to Ethernal Realms and welcome to this video. We will talk about the June astrology and we will also get into your zodiac specific behavior throughout this month. I will still be making tarot videos, so if you're interested in a tarot reading, you can access that as I upload it. Subscribe and hit the bell so you are notified whenever the videos are up. So on the 2nd of the month, there is a very nice aspect happening for you. You have Venus in your sign and it is trining your 9th house of Pisces. That's where Neptune is. So you're likely to receive some spiritual guidance or some higher knowledge. If you are in a higher education place, you are more confident, you are more intuitive about understanding whatever it is that you are learning. Now, if you look up to certain people who you would consider as wise or a teacher figure, they are also offering you some type of knowledge here that you are understanding. It can also be that they have already given you this information, but it is on the 2nd or around this time that you are really incorporating that. It's a generally very nice, blissful feeling. It's quite fulfilling on this day and around this time. It's just quite nice. Okay, on the 4th, we have a full moon happening in the sign of Sagittarius. So this will be activating your 12th house and your 6th house. 12th house is about abstract ideas. It's your connection with your soul. And it is also about esoteric topics. The topics about like surrendering, letting go, collective unconscious actually. And also there was something else I was getting. Your intuition, yes, your spiritual body in general. Meanwhile, Sagittarius in the 6th house talks about your physical being. It's your everyday life, your routine and lifestyle. What do you like to incorporate in your day-to-day activity? For example, you might like a little bit of a flexible routine instead of something that's like at 10 o'clock I gotta do this, at 12 o'clock I have to do this, and so on. So the full moon over here indicates that there is some type of lifestyle or routine or work habit is closing out. Or this can indicate that there is some type of clarity or illumination that happens in this sector that makes you realize that something has to change. Okay, so either way, whether the change happens to you or you inspire that change, something is getting completed. This can even mean incorporating more sleep in your routines or, rest time, meditation time. It can be going out for walks whenever you feel a little bit sleepy, things like that. Little details, little adjustments that can go a long way. The same day, we have Mercury joining with Uranus in the sign of Taurus, and that's in your 11th house of friendships, network, and the collective conscious. And this can mean that you have this sudden idea or this inclination to go towards something related to charity or to connect with a different type of network. Maybe you have outgrown some type of friend circles, but as a cardinal sign, and you are a very protective sign, you don't easily let go of people or even the things that you're attached to. If someone has been helpful to you, if someone has been compassionate and empathetic, it's not like you to just ditch them at any point. So you definitely take a longer time than non-Cancerians to let go of certain company. But with this aspect here, you might have realized that you might have drifted apart from certain friend groups. It can even be that you no longer identify within networks or, letting go of some subscribers or, pages that you follow. You are like refurbishing your network space. Now, this can also indicate that you have new friends coming in as well. It's not that you're just losing people, that you have a lot of clarity. Now, the same house also talks about aspirations and your long-term visions and goals. For example, I would like to travel the world someday. That could be a dream. Or I would like to taste every food there is to taste in the world, something unusual sometimes, These dreams that don't really have a definite plan of like 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line, these things are having some sort of breakthrough. So that would mean, for example, you have a clarity that some dream you once had is no longer valid anymore. Perhaps you completed that, or you have a completely different mindset now. On the 5th of the month, we have Venus moving into Leo, and this is an important transit because Venus will be here for quite some time. It will go retrograde in Leo and also go direct again in the sign of Leo. So it's going to be here for quite some time, and that's affecting your financial house. You are looking at what you value in life now. What are your priorities now? Have things changed? Are you drawn towards different things? It can also mean that your children are earning money, or they want to do something of their own and therefore are becoming more autonomous and you don't have to pay for them anymore. Things like that. And you can be spending more time being creative, purchasing things that are more artistic in nature. Also, this indicates you're being more generous, so you can be spending more on worthy causes. Again, we go back to that collective good and the charitable nature that you have in general. Next, the same day, we have an opposition of Venus with Pluto in Aquarius. And at this time, Pluto is retrograde. So there can be some rethinking that you are doing regarding your self-esteem, your worth, your priorities, things that you share with one another, and establishing different types of boundaries between your finances and your shared resources. There can be a change in your partner's finance as well, or the way that they're earning money is no longer satisfying for them. So they want to change something within their being. So the way that they earn their finances can be changing as well. And sometimes this can indicate greed or possessiveness over what you already have and a resistance to change. The way to resolve oppositions would be to try to find a balance on both sides of the equation. So it's not just going to be, this is my money and you cannot have any of this, nor should it be that this is your money or this is our money and we can't change the way that things have been so far. Okay, so there needs to be a little bit more flexibility in this area in order to have this as a pleasant transit. On the 7th, we have Venus and Leo squaring with North Node in Taurus. So once again, your priorities are changing, or you're getting a better recognition of your self-worth and esteem. And that would mean that you want to connect with a different network or a different group of friends. Perhaps some people pull you down and you're able to recognize that. And while you're hesitant to take some action at this time because it's a little bit uncomfortable, you are still recognizing that you need to do some things for your sake, for your sense of peace and happiness, and for your heart's joy as well. So there are some new information that can come in regarding your hopes, dreams, aspirations, or it can be related to your friendship circle, your networks that you're connected with, that just rubs you the wrong way and you're like, I don't know, I'm done with this page or I'm done with this channel. For now, it's not helping me out, so I need to move on and do something that is more inspiring to me. On the 11th of the month, we have Mercury moving into Gemini, and that's going to be in your 12th house. Mercury is strong in Gemini, so you will find yourself having a lot of strong dreams or intuition. You are already a water sign, and that makes you inherently intuitive, but Mercury entering here can bring those intuition to the conscious mind, so you're able to take action. There can be some spiritual things that you read on this day or around this time. Mercury is going to stay here till the 27th, by the way, so from the 11th till the 27th you might find a lot of spiritual material, or you're drawn towards more spiritual practices as well. If you're wanting to gain some knowledge, this is a very nice time that you can acquire some. The same day we have Mercury trining Pluto in Aquarius, and that's again a very blessed aspect. It indicates a lot of harmony, and this connects with your 8th house and your 12th house. So you're feeling this quite internally compared to some of the other signs. Whenever things are happening in the 4th, 8th, and 12th houses, it is felt more inwards. So whatever it is that you're discovering and surrendering, letting go, you have this recognition that, I need to let go of this habit because it's not helping me out. It's quite toxic for me. This negative thought pattern I have, or negative, emotional habits that I have as well. I need to stop seeing the world like this, or I need to stop connecting with people like that. But it's a very encouraging and motivating way that this information is coming towards you. So it makes you feel like you are making a change, but it's not, the most difficult thing ever. And that's a nice one to have, right? The same day, we have Pluto in Aquarius. It has been there and it's retrograde, and this day it is retrograding back into Capricorn, where it was for quite some time. So now you're looking at the changes that you have been making in a psychological aspect, or the things that have been coming up, which are more shadowy in nature. Does that change anything about our relationships? Okay, does that change the type of dynamics we have? Maybe it gives you more of an understanding of why you were connecting with certain types of people and why you were drawn to certain types of relationship dynamics. Okay, and this type of clarity is very important moving forward, because Pluto is going to move back into Aquarius once it turns direct. So we're still incorporating the newfound knowledge we have gathered in the past couple months into the previous information we already had. There can be some secrets as well that come up, or some internal realizations that happen within your partnership. So even if you are not feeling it directly, it can be other people who are realizing things about themselves. So like I said, your partner might be thinking that I don't want to earn my finances like this. This is not lining up with who I am anymore. It's not an authentic statement of who I am now. So I need to change some things, and I don't yet know what, but I will have to think about this and make a change at some point. So this can be like that, but you are being affected by it, or you are figuring out, or you're helping them go through these types of dynamics. Now, Venus in Leo is squaring with Jupiter in Taurus. The same square is being activated between your second house and your 11th house. So if you need some type of funding to move towards your dreams and your goals, this can be a little bit of an overindulgence, overspending, something like that can happen, where there's a sense of overestimation that, the problem is gone and now we can just move forward with things. Or that's it, this is the final moment and I need to move forward in this direction. It can be good, it can be bad. It depends on what you are really doing, what the application is, and how deeply you are inclined to do this. Okay, now on the 15th, we have Mercury in Gemini, which is your 12th house, squaring with Saturn in Pisces, which is your 9th house. So there can be a teacher figure or a mentor figure with whom you have a difference of opinion. Okay, now this is how things have been done. That's what the mentor is saying, or the higher education is telling you. This is just the status quo. This is the conventional way of being. Meanwhile, you are thinking differently. You are seeing the world differently. Your perceptions have changed. So the type of information you gather is also changing. So you might color outside the lines and try to find something else that makes more sense to you. But it's okay. Even if it feels a little bit contentious on this day, it's going to get resolved quite soon, because on the 17th, we have Saturn in Pisces going retrograde. When we have retrograde over here, there is some type of restructuring that happens. So the authority figures might be going through some type of changes themselves, and they're like, okay, maybe I need to do things differently, or maybe I need to believe something differently. If you are someone who believes in dogmatic religions and spiritual modalities, for example, you're gathering this new insight that does not have to be so rigid on the 15th, and you're implementing the necessary changes 17th onwards. On the 18th, we have a new moon in Gemini, and that's again in your 12th house. There is some type of rebirth that's happening over here. Some spiritual knowledge and downloads that are coming through that make absolute sense to you, that put everything in context, okay? So the journey you're going so far throughout this month, it just makes further sense around this time. Okay, and it also means that you might be improving your sleep patterns. You're perhaps purchasing some new bedding or new pillows, or changing up your sheets, something like that. It just makes you feel really fresh when you're in your sleep state. Now, on the 19th, we have the Sun in Gemini squaring up with Neptune in Pisces, and that again activates the same square we have been talking about, the 12th house and the 9th house. So something you have believed is now being challenged, and there's new insights that comes in, and you're like further challenged as to, okay, what do I know? How do I perceive? And does that measure up with how the world is now, or what my visions and goals are for the future? On the 21st, we have the summer solstice, and the sun moves into your sign. So there is replenishment, rejuvenation, and awakening of your own self. There can be some, changes you're making to your physical appearance, or like some promises you're keeping to yourself. whenever the sun returns to your sign, it indicates that you just have an increased level of stamina. You're also able to process things that are happening around you much more quickly. You have more strength and a lot more clarity about where you are going in life. So use this to your advantage. We have a month, and happy birthday. On the 25th, we have Mercury in Gemini squaring Neptune in Pisces, the same square is being activated that we have been talking about. So now that the focus is shifting from your sleep life or from your spiritual and surrendering lifestyle into a sense of empowerment, now how do your ideologies change? Do the same information still hold applicable? That's a very important question in this time, because the priorities have changed, or the way that you see the world is changing. It even means that, other people are seeing you more. You're more noticeable. So you might have to make some changes around, I can't be answering these many emails or phone calls. I have to spend time by myself as well. And I need to prioritize my rest time or my meditation time so that I can declutter my mind and feel more at ease and peace and so on. By the way, to resolve squares, it's important to look at both sides that we're talking about. It's not that one is better than the other, but we need to find time for both of them. But the good thing is that we do have the energy to do that. And the good thing about mutable sign squares, this Gemini Pisces that we're talking about is mutable, by the way. The thing with mutable signs squaring is that they're naturally adaptable. So we can make changes. The problem is that we might not know which way exactly, and we just have to try out things and see what makes sense. Okay, so it might feel a little bit vague for you as a cardinal sign who likes to have that clear direction and a clear sense of purpose, but there is a method to this madness. Okay, so just go with it. On the 26th, we have Mars in Leo squaring with Uranus in Taurus. Now, this one is bringing back into focus your second house and your 11th house. Now, keep in mind, the sun has changed signs. So the focus we have through this month is shifting, right? So now what do we think? How are we spending money? How do we assert our willpower? Where do we prioritize our time, money, energy, resource? These are things that are going to come up, and this requires some type of changes to commitments that are already ongoing. For example, you can't be meeting 10 friends in a week, for example, right? So you might have to compromise somewhere or change the schedule in some way, change the type of network or people that you meet. I feel you have a very keen sense of understanding beyond the 21st, especially about what drains your energy and what is rejuvenating your energy, and you are determined to prioritize your personal well-being, as you should. Okay, on the 27th, we have Mercury moving into your sign from Gemini. So you're from the 12th house to the first house. This is again a transition that means that your mind is awakened. It's now refreshed and it is ready to cater to what your thoughts are, what the promises you have made for yourself are. Mercury in Cancer in general it's not its home sign, but it means that as long as you're taking care of yourself, you're listening to your heart and your intuition, making time for yourself and your loved ones, the mind is functioning really good. There can be a tendency of feeling a little bit moody around this time. And moodiness happens when we are not paying attention to our sensitivities or our emotional nature. If you're not feeling good, you're not feeling good. The problem happens when we keep pushing despite not feeling good. But taking 5 minutes off to, rest and relax a little bit, to not think about anything, that can do wonders around this time. On the 29th, we have the Sun in Cancer trining with Saturn in Pisces. Now, Saturn is in retrograde, so this means that the changes that you are making are going to positively benefit you, and the promises you're making to yourself and your loved ones as well are going to be blessed. On the 30th, we have Neptune in Pisces going retrograde. So this means that there's a reality that sets in. Everything is not rosy and perfect and just, la la land. There is a sense of reality that sets in, and disillusionment can happen if we have been going too far off into this romantic adventure in our mind, in our fantasy land, or in our imagination. So everything cannot be ideal, and there is some type of practicality or practical spirituality that comes in. This can also mean that the spiritual knowledge that you have, or the intuitive structures you have in your life, that can also be shifting and changing in order to make space for a sharper intuition, a sharper precise, intuition, such that you can act on the whims and fancies that you get within your spiritual self. Generally, when Neptune is direct, it's easy to miss the signs. Okay, the soul might be sending you a lot of signals, or your guides might be sending you a lot of signs, but it's easy to miss them. But with retrograde, we have to pay extra attention. The problem is we have to be a little bit voluntary about this. The good thing for you, though, is that it is at a trine with you. It's a fellow water sign, so your intuition is still strong, your emotions are still on point, nothing is aggravating you far too much, so it's okay. The same day, we have Mercury in your sign trining with Saturn in Pisces. Again, a very blessed aspect. So even if there is some sort of disillusionment this day, it is not something that's going to harsh you in any way. You can still go ahead and do whatever it is you're doing, like your higher education, understanding yourself deeper, and things like that. Okay. So that's what I have for you. Thank you for being here. I really hope you enjoyed and that the messages help you out throughout the month. Stay tuned for the tarot reading for your zodiac sign as well. I will be uploading them soon. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified whenever that's up. And if you enjoyed the reading, please do like and comment your thoughts if you have any. It will be really lovely to hear back from you, and it really helps the channel grow as well. I will see you some other time. Until then, take care. Bye.